I've talked about flipping houses. I've talked about investing in real estate. I've talked about wholesaling. I've talked about being a real estate agent. But one thing that I haven't really talked about is a mortgage broker or a loan officer. And that's, in fact, I think the most lucrative career path and the most undersaturated career path anyone can take to scale or grow their business or career. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video, is all about a loan officer. How much do loan officers make? How can you become a loan officer? What are some best practices, tips, and tricks that you can apply to scale your career path and business as a loan officer? Hey everyone, my name is John and welcome back to another video on my channel. I'm not here to sell anything, so before you click out, just give it a listen and see what I have to offer. My goal is to help real estate agents, business owners scale their business to the next level using creative online strategies. And personally for me, I'm a real estate investor, real estate agent. I run and own multiple six-figure companies in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I just want to do this out of love to help all of y'all. So if you dig with that, if you vibe with that, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when I drop my next value video. Drop a few of these every week, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. And without further ado, let's get right to it. So between being a real estate investor or a realtor, the one secret career path that no one really talks about is a loan officer. So what exactly is a loan officer? Well, the loan officer is actually involved in every single real estate transaction, believe it or not. And the thing is, no one really knows about how to become a loan officer or how much money they actually make per deal. So that's why I want to get into it in this video. A loan officer is involved in every single transaction because most people, believe it or not, need to get financing or take out a mortgage or a loan in order to buy a property or before they purchase a property. So yes, a person can typically use hard money loans, which is, going to the banks, or they can use a lender. So a person can use hard money loans or go with a lender in order to get the loan or mortgage you need to use to purchase a property. Now, the beauty of a loan officer is they actually make money very frequently, and what makes them the lucrative money is actually the residual money that's left over. So if you think about a house flipper, they only receive one paycheck, which is typically the same as a realtor. When you get one client, they only get one stream of income, or potentially two if you're lucky, if they decide to sell and buy. Now for a lender, purchase of a home is just the beginning of multiple paychecks that they get paid. So as a realtor, a real estate investor, you can refinance on your loan. If you refinance your loan 3 times a year, the lender will receive income 3 times. Now, if you build up your clientele as a loan officer, you can get a lot of money through just one person and through the act of refinancing a deal, whether they're thinking of upsizing to a property and transferring their loan over, or they're taking equity out of their home to buy an investment property. Now, the question comes is, how do you become a loan officer? So the first thing you have to do is, depending on the country that you're in, typically there's a loan officer website that you can go to, and then you can go to that specific province or state that you reside in and see what the requirements are for being a licensed loan officer or a mortgage broker. So I would simply Google how to become a mortgage broker in Canada, British Columbia, or how to become a loan officer in California or Florida, Miami, things of that nature, and that will give you a better idea of what the requirements are. So typically there's going to be some sort of a course component that you have to sign up for, and also a test component as well, which is mostly memorization based. There might be a bit of a math component to it as well, where you might have to run some calculations. But at the end of the day, you just got to make sure you study for the test and pass, right? If you fail the test, you will have to retake the test within the next 30 days, 90 days, again, depending on the requirements per the state and the country that you're in. So it's really important for you to look up exactly how to get licensed and what the whole process looks like in the country that you're in. The whole process will typically cost around $1,000, give or take, again, depending on the country and the state and province that you're practicing in. So what happens after you pass your test? So after you pass the test, you'll be required to join a company, which is the equivalent of joining a brokerage as a real estate agent. So a few options that you can consider would be joining the company of a large banking institution such as Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, or in Canada you have TD, you have BMO, RBC, CIBC, for example, and they will treat you as an employee rather than an independent individual or independent broker. Another option that you have is to kind of go out on your own, and to join a company encompasses many different banking institutions, lending institutions that they work with. And in Canada, for example, there's Dominion Lending, or there's like True North Mortgage, for example, where they're independent mortgage brokers, independent loan officers that work with multiple banking institutions to help their clients secure the best loans or creative financing solutions if they require, if they need specific things done. Usually independent mortgage brokers are best able to serve them. And again, these companies have different structures and they train their employees differently. So at the end of the day, you just need to make sure you join a company that will help you train on getting a head start, that will help you accelerate the process of you learning the ins and outs of the industry and being able to start to get your own clients, so you can start working with them and nurturing your database and growing your sphere and your client base. And that's the most important thing. So don't focus on how much you make or what the split is between brokerage to brokerage or company to company, but focus on the experience and the amount of training that the company provides and what you will actually be gaining, because that is invaluable. That's priceless. Now, a lot of people get a little bit worked up on the amount of commission that they make, but I think that's the wrong mindset to approach things. I think the most important thing is to make sure you gain experience first, because after you gain experience, then you can take that experience and negotiate a better deal with different companies, or even go out on your own and create your own brokerage or your own company as a mortgage broker or loan officer. Typically, most loan officers get leads and new clients through realtors. So realtors are a really good way for you to get to know someone and to get new business, new clients from the get. Because most of the times when a consumer or a potential client is looking to buy a home, they think about a real estate agent first. So usually they typically connect with a real estate agent, which then the real estate agent would refer them out to the loan officer to kind of work on the financing and get the ball rolling on the court. So realtors are a great way for you to attract new clients, and I recommend that you go out and meet new realtors in the city, in the area that you work with, and just see how you guys can work together, how you can provide value to them, if there's anything you can be of assistance of. So there are many loan officers, just like real estate agents, but you have to see how you can be of value to the realtor. And it always is easier if you can give value first. So what I would do is I would really tap into my sphere if I was looking to become a loan officer, and just see what type of business or who in my sphere is looking to buy a home, and I would connect them to a realtor first to extend that friendship, to extend that working relationship, which then would be able to hopefully get me more clienteles if this realtor is more established and they have a new client that's looking to get approved. Hopefully they think of me and want to work with me first. So again, you want to think of it as a win-win scenario, and typically the easiest way to win someone over, because again there's a lot of competition, is to just extend that courtesy and to help them first. If you scratch their back, to scratch yours. So that's kind of the mindset and framework of how I would think about it. And typically there's about 3% of interest that you can earn per deal. Not interest, 3% that you would earn from a deal. So how it's divvied up is 1% usually goes to the company, another 1% goes to the branch manager, whose job is to oversee the loan officer. So most loan officers usually expect to make 1% from every deal. again, every company is different, every country is different, every state and province is different. So depending on how everything is set up, sometimes the branch manager or the company might feed you leads. So, they might take a bigger cut if the lead source is from them, or they might charge you upfront per lead for then you to nurture and work on that lead. So I would say, give or take, after all expenses considered, when you're starting off as a loan officer, just be prepared to make 1/4% to 1/2%. When you're trying to grow your database and your network, when you're just starting out for the first few months. Definitely, it's a lot easier to scale as a loan officer business than a realtor business. For one, as a loan officer, you typically can stay put in one location, and they just work behind the scenes mostly. You don't have to, like a real estate agent, drive around, show properties. You don't have to go to listing appointments. You don't have to go to photo shoots or video shoots or 3D virtual tour shoots. You don't have to go negotiate on a deal. Most of the loan officers, they work from their office and they seldomly meet clients, or they get their clients to meet them at the loan officers more to get approved for a mortgage or a loan. So typically a lot of time is saved because they usually work virtually with clients. They hop on calls, they hop on Zoom calls, and they collect all the data from the clients. Typically, they'll need paperwork, a few requirements like a job letter or their pay stub or a photo of their bank account, their bank statement. So things of that nature. They request all the information on documents from the client, and then once the client provides that information to them, they kind of do the back end work on the financing, and they get back to the client as well. So for that reason, and scalability wise, you don't have to commit a lot of time to driving around to different places to show properties. You don't really have to meet and engage with clients. So I think it's a lot easier to scale personally as a loan officer, because you save a lot of time on the commute and on the chit chat and the daily drama and the daily events of just working with properties and working with different clients. So something that you can definitely think about doing in the near future is to become a branch manager and have a team of loan officers that you manage, or even start your own branch as well, right, if you're going the independent route. So that's when you can really start making seriously money, because once you're able to build a framework and system that works for you, you can then be able to package that framework and to help other loan officers kickstart their careers by providing them support, training, guidance, and even clients to work with. Hence, that's when you can start to really scale, because you have more manpower and more systems in place, more standard operating procedures in place for you then to focus on the bigger tasks, such as steering the whole company or figure out what direction you should take to grow and scale faster. So hopefully, guys, that gives you some insight on what it's like to become a loan officer and what are some options and opportunities that you can embark on as a loan officer. You can either work with big banks or you can work as an independent broker. And the best ways to get started is to get in contact with real estate agents. Again, those are typically the ever-flowing lead generation platform, is to milk these realtors and really build strong relationships with them. And the best way to do that is to extend the courtesy and provide value to them first. And once you start building that relationship, it's just a never-ending flow of business that you can work with, and you can then leverage that to build systems and foundations in place for you to then become your own brokerage. You become your own company, and now you're in the position to start to hire, outsource more loan officers to help them grow and kickstart your career. So if you guys ever got a loan or a mortgage on a property, do them a favor and be sure to keep them for at least 6 months, because you can refinance it. So hopefully you guys learned a thing or two about how to secure a loan, what is a loan officer, how much should they make, and the whole process of going about it. Again, I believe this is the best kept secret to growing and scaling a career in real estate, which is to become a loan officer. So I think it's something that you guys should really seriously consider. Thank you guys again for tuning in. If you learned a thing or two, definitely be sure to like this video so I can share it with more people that can think about becoming a loan officer. And definitely comment down below if you want any topics that you want me to make videos on, or if you have any questions at all. Again, my name is John Lee, and I'm not trying to sell anything. I simply want to help real estate agents and business owners scale their business to multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, even 9 figures. So if that interests you at all, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I drop my next value video. And take care, guys. I will see you guys in the next one.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.